Good morning, students. So today we have to talk about the next topic, that is exchange of gases. Okay. So in two sides in the respiratory tract, there is exchange of gases takes place, right? Gas exchange is going on. Could you say what are the two sides where there is an exchange takes place? So the first side is alveoli, right? The first side is alveoli, right? And in the alveoli, especially we are talking about the two gases here. One is oxygen and the second one is the carbon dioxide, right? So from alveoli to blood circulation, oxygen is sent from the alveoli. Oxygen is transported from the alveoli, right? And it is receiving the carbon dioxide. Alveoli is receiving this carbon dioxide. So this exchange takes place in the alveoli. That is the first site, right? And the second place for this gas exchange is tissue. Okay. So this oxygen is transported from the alveoli through the blood circulation. It is reaching the tissues or cells. Okay. Cells, carbon dioxide is much. So from the tissue, carbon dioxide is transported to the blood. So here from tissue, carbon dioxide is taken and it is receiving this oxygen. Understand? So from the tissue is producing the carbon dioxide after the metabolic process. This also transported by the blood. So this is the two major sites where this oxygen and the carbon dioxide exchange takes place. Exchange takes place in this respiratory tract. Okay. So now let us see how this exchange happens. What mechanism is there behind this, right? Exchange of gases. So when we talk about this exchange, we have to understand the basic concept here, that is this partial pressure. Partial pressure. Partial pressure. Okay. So what do you mean partial pressure? So air consists of lot of gases, right? Air consists of pressure. So air consists of many gases. So each individual gas consists of its own pressure, right? So that pressure is known as partial pressure. So this is denoted as a letter P. Understand? So the individual pressure or the individual pressure of each gas is known as partial pressure, right? So we could say this definition which is given in the text is, so that for each one, partial pressure is the pressure contributed by an individual gas in a mixture of gas, is known as partial pressure, right? So if we talk about the partial pressure of this oxygen, we can write this, it says denoted as PO2, right? If we talk about this partial pressure of this carbon dioxide, we can write this as PCO2, partial pressure of carbon dioxide, right? So this is about the partial pressure. Okay. Then how the diffusion takes place. The method is simple diffusion. Diffusion method. Diffusion, right? So about diffusion already we explained, right? So what do you mean diffusion? The movement of these molecules from higher concentration to lower concentration, right? That is known as diffusion process, right? So this movement is going on from higher concentration to the lower concentration. So in case of this respiratory system, we could say this air movement is there between the higher partial pressure to the lower partial pressure. Do you get me? Higher partial pressure to the lower partial pressure. So this is the technique or method is there to exchange these gases. So the gas will exchange from higher concentration to lower concentration, which means higher partial pressure to lower partial pressure. Do you understand? Okay, now let us talk how this exchange takes place. As I said already, in two sides exchange takes place. One is this alveoli, the second one is this tissue. Let us see how this pressure gradient will change and how this exchange takes place. Fine. Okay. Okay, listen. So first we can talk about this, how this exchange takes place. Okay. So this is the first side where this gas exchange takes place is alveoli. Okay. And so this is the last side. We could say it's a tissue where this the second side where this gas exchange takes place. Fine. Okay. So here from alveoli this blood will be transported to the heart, right? And from the heart it is supplied to the tissues, right? So in the three places it takes place. From alveoli it is transported to the heart. From the heart it is transported to the tissue. Again from the tissue to the heart, and from the heart to this alveoli. So whatever blood is circulating to the body, inside the body, it has to come inside this heart, right? It is transported through the heart, right? Okay, now let us see this about this exchange and the partial pressure. Okay, first of all, listen. When this alveoli is receiving the air, so it is that we could say it's this inhale air, right? So the inhale air is the partial pressure of this inhale air, which means oxygen level PO2. During inspiration, we are breathing the air inside, right? So this air consists of this oxygen and the carbon dioxide. So this oxygen partial pressure is equal to 159 mmHg. It is a unit, right? And this partial pressure of this CO2 is, carbon dioxide level is just 0.3 mmHg. So this is the inhale air. The air is coming inside. Or inspire air is, it is 159 for oxygen and 0.3 mmHg for carbon dioxide. Right? Okay. So when it is coming inside this alveoli, listen, when it comes inside this alveoli, this oxygen, partial pressure of this oxygen as well as carbon dioxide level will change. Right? So here we could write, listen, partial pressure of this inside this alveoli, PO2 is 104 mmHg, right? But in case of this PCO2 is equal to 40 mmHg, right? So actually when we inspire, the air is coming to the alveoli, right? Then it must be the same amount of this oxygen and the carbon dioxide will be there, right? But here it is oxygen level is reduced and the carbon dioxide level is increased. So what may be the reason, right? Do you know about this residual value we said about this, during inspiration and the expiration? Inspire and the expire air we said, right? So when we inspire, for normal breathing 500 ml of this air will be inspire, right? For one inspiration and the expiration. That is the tidal volume in the previous class we said, right? But not all this air will be expired out. During deep breath we said residual value, right? So in such a cases, certain amount of this gases will be left inside this, respiratory tract. So in that case, carbon dioxide level will be more because it is an expiration gas, right? So it should be eliminated out. So that air consists of carbon dioxide level will be more and the oxygen level will be less. So when we inhale, this inhaled air will mix with the air which is present already in the respiratory tract. Do you get me? That air, oxygen content is low, carbon dioxide level is more. That's why here it is mixing with that air. So here partial pressure of this oxygen and the carbon dioxide level has varied. Okay, so here this oxygen level is reduced and the carbon dioxide level is increased, 40. Okay, now could you tell me which, so this gas is now going to exchange to the blood vessel, right? Could you say which blood vessel will take this oxygenated blood from the alveoli to the heart? That is pulmonary vein. So the pulmonary vein will take, so this blood is coming to the heart now, right? It is coming to the heart. Which blood vessel takes this one? Pulmonary vein. So the pulmonary vein will take this oxygenated blood now. Now this is an oxygenated blood, right? So it is taking the oxygenated blood because oxygen level is more. So it is bringing to the heart, right? So now we can come to the heart, right? Heart consists of here right auricle. This is right auricle. This is left auricle, right? So the left auricle is going to receive this now oxygenated blood. Okay. So here in the heart, so now we could write about this, this partial pressure in here in the heart. It is partial pressure of this oxygen is 95 mm Hg, right? Meanwhile, PCO2 is equal to 40 mm Hg, 40 mm Hg. Can you notice the difference between these two? There it is 95 mm Hg. Oxygen is in the alveoli, it is 104 mm Hg, but here the oxygen level is reduced, 90 mm Hg. Okay. Here also one reason we could say that is, and already we said about the dead space, do you remember? In the previous class we said about the dead space, where when we inhale this oxygen or air, it is coming to the alveoli, but not all the alveoli takes place in this, exchange. So little amount of this air will be left without exchange, right? So that is 150 ml we said. So it do not involve in the exchange process, right? So if this air is mixing with that space gas, sorry, that's why this oxygen level is again it is reduced. That's why here this oxygen level is 95 mm Hg and the PCO2 is 40 mm Hg. Okay, now this oxygenated blood is coming towards this tissue, right? So could you say which one will take this oxygenated blood to the tissue here? So this is coming towards the tissue again. So which takes this oxygenated blood? From the left auricle, the blood go to the left ventricle. From the left ventricle, the biggest artery, it is known as aorta. So this aorta will take this oxygenated blood to the tissues, cells, right? So here what happens here? So here partial pressure is 95. So oxygen level is more, CO2 is less, 40, right? In the tissues, which content will be more? Carbon dioxide level will be more, because oxygen will be always utilized by the cells for this in a metabolic process, and finally carbon dioxide only will be produced in the tissues. So in the tissues, carbon dioxide level will be more and oxygen level will be less. So here they mention PO2 of this tissue level is 40 mm Hg, and PCO2 is equal to 45 mm Hg. Do you understand? So here this oxygen level is more, here oxygen level is low. That's why oxygen will transport from higher concentration to the lower concentration. Understand? Here carbon dioxide level is low, but here carbon dioxide level is more. So this carbon dioxide will move to the blood to the next tissue or blood capillaries. So again from the tissues, right? From the tissue, again this deoxygenated blood has been taken to this heart again, right? So this, which we could say the blood vessel is veins or superior and inferior vena cava. Superior and inferior vena cava. Right. So this will take this now deoxygenated blood to the right auricle. Have we got? So now could you say this same blood is coming to this right auricle now. So the same level of O2 and CO2 will be there. So here also we could try this PO2 level. PO2 equal to 40 and PCO2 is equal to 45 mm Hg. Here mm Hg. Right. Now from the heart, again it is pumped to this alveoli there, right? So which blood vessel takes this deoxygenated blood? So this now it is received to the right auricle. When the heart chamber contract, from the right auricle to the left auricle it comes, right? From the left auricle it is taken to the lungs. Okay. So which blood vessel could you say? Pulmonary artery. Am I right? Pulmonary artery. So the pulmonary artery will take it from here to here. So this blood vessel we can write as a pulmonary pulmonary artery. Okay, so here the same blood is coming here, right? So can you notice this partial pressure of oxygen and the carbon dioxide? Here partial pressure is 104, oxygen partial pressure is 104, here oxygen partial pressure is 40, right? And here carbon dioxide level is 45, here carbon dioxide level is 40. So that's why now from lower concentration to this higher concentration to the lower concentration, its exchange takes place. So 104 to again 1, so it will move inside. This 45 is high, so the 45 will move outside. So the carbon dioxide will come to this alveoli now. Do you understand? Have you got? So here 40, so the same 40 is here now, right? So 45 is here, already here 104 is there. So from higher concentration to the lower concentration is move. So carbon dioxide will move from the higher concentration to the lower concentration now here to the alveoli. And this will be now exhaled out. So this is the exhalation air. So here this pressure, expired air consists of this partial pressure is O2 is equal to 120 mm Hg, and here CO2 is equal to 27 mm Hg, right? So listen, so again when it's expire out, it is expired air. So when it's expired out again, so it is mixing the air which is present on this air respiratory tract, and again this oxygen and the carbon dioxide level will vary. So now this gas which comes out is carbon dioxide is 27 mm Hg and oxygen level is 120 mm Hg. Okay, so this is about this exchange of gases. The basic for this exchange of gases is partial pressure. As per the partial pressure, the exchange happens, and by the method it is by diffusion method. So it will transfer from higher concentration to the lower concentration level. Understand? Okay. So look at this. So this is a table column which is given in our textbook. That is, and partial pressure of oxygen and the carbon dioxide, the unit is in mmHg. In comparison is those gases in the atmosphere, right? So listen, respiratory gas is here oxygen and the carbon dioxide. Atmospheric air consists of this oxygen and the carbon dioxide level. Oxygen level is 159 and the carbon dioxide level is 0.3, right? And alveoli, it is 104 and carbon dioxide is 40. Deoxygenated blood, this oxygen level is 40 and this carbon dioxide level is 45. Okay, and oxygenated blood, this oxygen is 95 and carbon dioxide level is 40. And in the tissues, oxygen is 40 and carbon dioxide is 45. Okay, and in the figure, actually in this old edition, I mean the previous edition, in the tissues, in the figure actually it is given as O2 is 30 and CO2 is 0 mmHg is given, but it is wrong. You do the correction there. Do you get me? Look at here. So here oxygen and the carbon dioxide is given in the tissues. Their oxygen level is actually 30 mmHg and the carbon dioxide is 0 mmHg is given, but it is wrong. You do correction, it is 40 and 45 mmHg. In the new edition it is given correctly. And moreover here everywhere only oxygen and the carbon dioxide is given. So whenever we write about this partial pressure, we have to include the letter P also. So you have to write PO2, PCO2. So this correction you can make it in the textbook, right? Then one more point we have to say, always this, this carbon dioxide solubility will be more than this oxygen. 20 to 25 times it is more than this oxygen. So which means, and this concentration or pressure of this carbon dioxide will be always more than this oxygen. Do you understand? Fine. So let us see the next one. It is respiratory pigments. Okay. So now we said about the exchange. Then the two sides, the exchange of gases takes place. One is alveoli and another one is tissues, right? So wherever the exchange takes place, the transportation is done with the help of this blood circulation, right? The blood only taking this oxygen or carbon dioxide, whatever it is taken by the blood circulation. And especially the pigment which is present inside this blood or RBC cell is known as hemoglobin, right? So hemoglobin is the major respiratory pigment. So hemoglobin. So in this hemoglobin only going to carry this oxygen and the carbon dioxide, right? So few information they said regarding this hemoglobin, right? So it is one of this conjugated protein, they said. Conjugated protein. Conjugated protein. Protein. So globin is a protein, right? So conjugated protein, right? Okay, so what do you mean conjugated protein? So when here globin, right? So if you take hemoglobin, it consists of two part, right? Hemoglobin, it consists of heme, actually globin, right? So this globin, heme and globin, so this globin is the protein and heme is the ion. So when one protein combine with this non-protein substance, when one protein combine with a non-protein substance, that is known as conjugated protein with a covalent bond. So the bonding we may learn in the chemistry, right? So the globin is combined with this heme or non-protein substance with one covalent bond is known as conjugated protein. So here globin is the protein. So here two part is there in the hemoglobin. So what first one, it is a globin. It's a globin is a protein. Globin, it's a protein. And the second part is this ion. Heme is ion. Actually it is a porphyrin ion. Porphyrin ring. It will be as a porphyrin ring, right? So listen, structurally actually this porphyrin ring, each porphyrin, so this may help, it will help you, this structure will help you in the next topic also. Please listen. Porphyrin ring, each porphyrin ring consists of 4 pyrrole ring. 4 pyrrole ring, right? Each porphyrin ring consists of 4 pyrrole ring. Okay, and each pyrrole ring, each ring consists of 1 ferrous ion. 1 ferrous ion. This is known as ferrous. If you double plus, it is ferrous. Okay, if it's a ferrous. So listen, this is the structure, actually chemical, the symbol structure of this, hemoglobin. Hemoglobin, listen. So hemoglobin, globin is the protein and iron is this, heme is the ion. So iron is actually porphyrin ring. So each porphyrin ring consists of 4 pyrrole ring. Pyrrole ring consists of ferrous ion, right? This ion only will combine with the oxygen. Understand? So if you see the structure, listen, symbol structure. So look at this structure. Actually say porphyrin ring, this is porphyrin ring. Each porphyrin ring consists of 4 pyrrole rings, right? 4 pyrrole rings, each ring consists of this one ferrous ion. So this ferrous ion is going to contact with the oxygen when this exchange of gases, right? So this oxygen has to combine inside this blood, right? Somewhere else it should be there. Especially the site, actually this ferrous ion. So when the ion is in a ferrous state, if we double plus, it could combine with this oxygen. If it is not in a ferrous state, it cannot combine. Understand? So each pyrrole ring consists of ferrous ion. So this ferrous ion, each one can combine with one oxygen molecule. So overall we could say one hemoglobin can carry 4 oxygen molecule. Understand? So one hemoglobin molecule can carry 4 oxygen molecules. Understand? Then, and this ion, only this 4% of this oxygen can be carried by this 4% is oxygen actually. So only 4% is only iron is there, heme molecule is there. Rest of this 96% is globin particles. Understand? So in the hemoglobin, only 4% is heme, rest 96% is globin. Do you get me? So this is the method. This how good this this oxygen will combine with the hemoglobin for transportation. Okay. Then one more, pigment they said, that is methymoglobin. That is called methymoglobin. Methymoglobin. So methymoglobin is nothing else. Actually, here we said when this ion is in a ferrous state, Fe double plus, only it can combine with the oxygen. Oxygen transportation is possible only when the ion is in a ferrous state. But in cases when the ion becomes a ferrous state to ferric state, Fe plus, it cannot combine with the oxygen. So that is known as methymoglobin, right? Methymoglobin. So when this hemoglobin combined with the oxygen, that is known as oxyhemoglobin. Oxyhemoglobin. But here it is methymoglobin. Here the condition is the ion is in a ferric state. So it cannot combine with this oxygen. So the blood consists of 1% of methymoglobin. Rest is hemoglobin, right? Methymoglobin cannot combine with this oxygen. So the blood only 1% methymoglobin is there. Do you understand? So this is a pigment which is useful to transfer this gases in the blood. Okay, so let us see the next one, how the transportation takes place, how the oxygen is transported and how the carbon dioxide is transported. Understand? So listen, transport of gases. So in the pigment it is transported. So how this transportation, how this oxygen will be transported, or how the carbon dioxide is transported, how it is binding with this hemoglobin and so on, right? So that is things we have discussed now. So first we could say how this oxygen will be transported from this. Could you say the side? Oxygen transportation takes place from alveoli to tissue. Oxygen supply is going on, right? From oxygen supply is going on. So, and let us see which is helping for this transportation. Especially so of course blood only we knows and how it is transported. Especially the first site is the plasma. So this oxygen will dissolve in this plasma. So by this method also oxygen will dissolve in the plasma. So when this blood transport through the plasma, the oxygen is taken to the tissues, right? But this percentage level is very low because oxygen dissolve in the plasma in a very little amount. That's why the percentage level also little, that is only 3%. Only 3% of this oxygen is transported by this plasma, through plasma. Have you got? And the second one is, of course, we could say it is RBC. By RBC, it is transported. Okay. So only RBC, especially what we could say, hemoglobin. How much? Rest 97% is transported by hemoglobin. So hemoglobin, that's what we said about this hemoglobin. And now that is, so what we said about the hemoglobin now, hemoglobin consists of two regions, the globin as well as this iron region. So it consists of 4 pyrene ring. Each ring consists of 4 pyrrole ring. So each pyrrole ring consists of this ion, ferrous state of ion. It could combine with the oxygen, right? So as we said already, one hemoglobin molecule can transfer this 4 oxygen molecule. Understand? So when this oxygen is combined with this hemoglobin, that hemoglobin we can call as oxyhemoglobin. So those things now is discussed about this hemoglobin, right? And the other factors which is favoring for this condition is, so we could say, and this here what are the things we could say? Since it is happening in the alveoli, here the oxygen level is high, PO2 level is high, moreover this carbon dioxide level is low, right? And the temperature also low, and H plus ion level also low. Understand? So these are all the things is favoring to transport this oxygen or the binding of this oxygen with the hemoglobin molecule. That is a special point we could say. Binding of oxygen with the hemoglobin molecule. Understand? So in this alveoli, oxygen level is more, carbon dioxide is less, temperature is less, and hydrogen ion concentration also less. So this is favoring for the combination of this oxygen and hemoglobin. Do you get me? So this is a method to transport this oxygen. Understand? Then here another one, curve, that is a graph is given to explain this one. So look at the graph which is given in our text. That is, listen, x side it is given partial pressure of oxygen. So as per the partial pressure, the combination of oxygen with the hemoglobin happens, right? As per the partial pressure. So the next side, y axis it is given, x axis it is given the partial pressure of oxygen, y axis it is given percentage saturation of hemoglobin with the oxygen. So here how much percentage it could combine as per this partial pressure. Okay. So when we draw as a graph, it will give us a S-shaped curve. So this curve is known as a sigmoid curve. So this curve is known as a sigmoid curve. Sigmoid curve. Sigmoid curve. Okay. So let us see. So listen, here the partial pressure of this oxygen. So when we plot here, partial pressure from 0 to, or from 0 to 50 or 10 to 50 mmHg until 50 mmHg, and so it is moving in as higher position. It is moving gradually, it is increasing. Understand? So when the partial pressure is 20 and here this oxygen and hemoglobin combination level is increasing, then it is 40, again it is increasing, again when it is 50, again it is increasing. Understand? Until 80 it is there. Then after 50, just it is flattening. After 50, it is going to be one flat, steep slope is there, right? So from 10 to 50, it will increase. Again after 50, it becomes a steep slope will be there, right? So this curve is known as oxyhemoglobin dissociation curve. Oxygen dissociation curve also mentioned. Otherwise we could say this is oxyhemoglobin dissociation curve, right? So what this graph explains, as per the partial pressure of this oxygen and this hemoglobin combination will be determined. Do you understand? Okay. Then one more point we could say, every 100 ml of blood can supply only 5 ml of oxygen to the tissues. Only 5 ml, 100 ml blood can supply only 5 ml of oxygen to the tissues. Okay, so that's all about this transport of oxygen. So oxygen will be transported to the tissues by two methods. One is through plasma 3%. Second one is through hemoglobin 97%. Understand? Let us talk about this carbon dioxide transportation. So listen, transport of carbon dioxide. So carbon dioxide transportation is from tissue to the lungs. Have we got? From tissue to lungs. By three ways, here it is two ways, but here it is two ways, three ways this transportation is going on. The first one is the plasma. Of course, plasma. Through plasma, 7 to 10% carbon dioxide will be transported in a dissolved form like oxygen. Okay. Second method is hemoglobin. Hemoglobin. By hemoglobin, 20 to 25%. 20 to 25% will be transported. Okay. So here we could say, so listen, hemoglobin plus carbon dioxide gives HbCO2. So this is known as carbaminohemoglobin. Carbaminohemoglobin. So listen, this carbon dioxide will combine with this hemoglobin in the amino group of hemoglobin. Then it forms as a carbaminohemoglobin. So through the hemoglobin it will be transported. So there is a second method. Okay. And the third method is as bicarbonate ions. As bicarbonate ion. As a bicarbonate ion. So this we could explain, listen. So first of all, so we could say the first it is tissue. Tissue. Okay. From tissue, carbon dioxide is transported first of all to the blood. Actually in this it is transported to the RBC. So this carbon dioxide is transported, listen me, carbon dioxide is transported from tissue to RBC. So here it is tissue, then RBC. Understand? So why it is transported to the RBC? Because RBC consists of one of the enzyme, that is carbaminase enzyme, carbonic anhydrase enzyme. Carbonic anhydrase enzyme. This is essential to convert this carbonic acid. So listen. So in the RBC, this CO2 combined with water. So it produces H2CO3. This is known as carbonic acid. This is the carbonic acid. Carbonic acid. Okay. Then this carbonic acid, so with the help of this enzyme, that is carbonic anhydrase enzyme. Carbonic anhydrase. This carbonic anhydrase enzyme will convert this H2O plus CO2 into carbonic acid. Okay. Then, so this again, this carbonic acid is unstable. So immediately it will be converted again into, dissociated into H plus ion, H plus, and it will be dissociated into H plus as well as, HCO3 into HCO3. So this is known as bicarbonate. Bicarbonate. Okay. So this is a reversible reaction actually. The same, reaction also catalyzed by the same enzyme. That is carbonic anhydrase enzyme. Do you understand? Carbonic anhydrase enzyme. So this CO3 now bicarbonate will, this is going on inside the RBC now, right? So immediately it will come out from this RBC to this plasma. So now this HCO3 will come out from this RBC to plasma now. So from the plasma, now it is in the plasma, right? From the plasma again it will goes to the lungs, right? In the lungs, right? So in the lungs actually the carbon dioxide level is more, so that's why, so the lungs, it is a oxygen level is more, but the blood which is coming from the tissue, it is carbon dioxide level is more, right? So in the lungs it is oxygen level is more. So when it comes here again, since this oxygen level is high, carbon dioxide level is low, this HCO3 or bicarbonate again it is dissociated into H2O and carbon dioxide. So this carbon dioxide will be expelled outside. Do you get me? So by three methods this carbon dioxide transportation takes place. One is plasma, through plasma 7 to 10%, through hemoglobin 20 to 25%, and as bicarbonate ions, the rest of this carbon dioxide transportation takes place. About 70%, they said, about 70%. Right? So here, listen, from the tissue, it goes to this RBC because the reason is carbonic anhydrase enzyme is more in RBC, very less in the plasma. That's why this reaction takes place in the RBC cell. So where it is converted into bicarbonate ions, then the bicarbonate ion is transported to the plasma. From the plasma it goes to the lungs. There again it is dissociated into water and carbon dioxide. So this carbon dioxide is left outside through expiration. Understand? So this process takes place in the transport of gases. Okay. So this class we talk about this. The questions. The first one we could say exchange of gases, which is in the page number 127. So with the diagram you can write, or one mark questions. So it will be as a 5 mark question. Or one mark questions they can ask this partial pressure of this oxygen in this or carbon dioxide level in the either in the atmospheric air or alveoli in the tabular column, which is given clearly, so that you can learn as a 1 mark questions that they can ask. Okay. Then what about what is hemoglobin? And the hemoglobin molecular weight is actually 68,000 Dalton. So this also they can ask us a 1 mark question. And what is the difference between hemoglobin and methymoglobin? So hemoglobin, this ion will be as a ferrous state. Methymoglobin, the ion is as ferric state. Okay, so that they can ask. Then transport of oxygen. So which is helping for oxygen transportation or which is helping for carbon dioxide transportation? And what is sigmoid curve? Or and that they can ask what is oxyhemoglobin dissociation curve. So those things will be asked as either 2 mark question or 1 mark question. Then carbon dioxide transport also as a 5 mark question you can learn. Fine. So hope you will go through this topic and we will meet in the next class. Fine. Thank you.